I want to be excited and be like, holy snapdragons, it's working. But last time it did this, it wasn't working. Yay! Holy snapdragons, it worked. And it's 2 o'clock. I'm right on time. Happy fucking Tuesday. Um, I actually have been very like low energy and reserved today. But I'm just so excited to be back with you guys. I'm so excited. And the fucking Facebook Live worked. Like, what is happening? This is amazing. Um, hello, how are you? How was your week without me? Uh, my week in the mountains of Lake Tahoe were fucking. It wasn't were. It was. Whatever. It was fabulous. It's fucking fabulous. I had a blast. I learned a ton. I hung out with really awesome people and talked about my vision for my business, which is very much this group, and my clients outside of this group, right? My in person clients too, but very much my vision for the impact that I want to make in this world. And it really helped me to narrow down some things that I want to talk about. And this is one of them. This is one of them. This topic today, I'm just going to ask that if you're popping in to catch today's Tuesday Tales, 20 minutes at 2 o'clock, I'm so creative. Um, that, we're going to talk about creating two-way communication with your horse today. And if you're popping in for this, I just ask that you put on your beginner mindset. If you have done any additional work with me, if we've done maybe an emotion code session, or if you've been in the Keys to the Kingdom program, especially if you've been there, I know you've heard me say this. And if you are in the Intuitive Equine Bodywork certification program, you might have heard me say this as well. We always want to have our beginner mindset on, the thing that it's always the things that we think we know that hold us back the most. So, as I go into this today, if some of this sounds basic bitch to you and you're like, I already know that, cool, cool. Here's the thing. We learn and evolve throughout our entire lives. And when we die, we don't fucking know everything. Even though we are hopefully, hopefully nigh on 100, right? 80 to 100 years old, you still don't fucking know everything. And some of the lessons that we relearn. Okay. We learn them at different levels. And so the way that my coach puts it, and I just absolutely fucking love this visual, is that we're constantly climbing up a spiral staircase. Okay. You're constantly going up around and around, level by level. And every time you ascend a level, you've learned a lesson, right? And sometimes you go up 4 levels and then relearn that same lesson. It's not exactly the same because it's more difficult, because you are more capable, because you have more experience to be able to handle the situation. So, same, just because you feel like you create a two-way communication with your horse now, or that you have good connection with your horse now, doesn't mean that it can't be better. I often have people rate how they feel about things on scales of 1 to 10, right? So for example, today, how do I feel? And you go ahead and do this too. How do we feel about the two-way communication that we create with our horse on a scale of 1 to 10? How good do you feel about that communication being two-way communication? For me, um, I feel like I'm at a 7, and I did muscle test. I don't know if you saw, you probably didn't see my hand. It's probably too low. I was muscle testing this, okay? So that I'm not lying. So I'm not just being like 10, we're at a 10, because guess what? 10's not real, okay? 10 would be like, you know it all. There's nothing else to learn here. And that's never the case. When we're at a 10, we're lying to ourselves. We're lying to ourselves. We're avoiding the work. We're not being honest about where we really are in the situation. So I'm at a 7. I've got 3 points for space for improvement, and that feels pretty comfortable. I would expect that if this is a new topic for you, you might be at a 1 or a 2. Fuck, you could be at a 0. That's totally fair. Like, you might be like, I've never approached time with my horse with the idea that we could have two-way communication. So we're at a 0. That's totally fair. It's totally fair. Everybody starts somewhere. And to be honest, with the way that I was trained to be with horses from a young age, um, two-way communication wasn't a thing. It was a joke. when I was a kid and I was having two-way communication with my horses, people laughed at it, and I thought that meant that I was just fucking faking it and it wasn't real, right? And it is very real. It is very real. It's about what you believe, right? It's about what you believe. So if you want that two-way communication, it is there for you. And today we're going to dive into that. So I'm going to give you just a few steps and ways to increase your two-way communication or establish it if you haven't previously done that. Okay. So first and foremost, what is it like when you are going out to the barn? If you are going out to the barn, um, you know, after work. Fuck. Fuck work. You've just sat through traffic. If you were like me, it was at least an hour of traffic both ways every day, and you're just like, why won't you move? The fast lane is on the left. If you're not willing to go over the speed limit, get out of the left lane, right? Like this like road rage bullshit. The frustration. And then like all the frustration throughout your day of like dealing with stupid people and people that aren't doing what they should be doing, and why can't other people do their jobs, and why can't people do like their jobs as well as you do. Like there's all these reasons to be frustrated. There's also the alternative of maybe you're a stay-at-home mom and you've been with your kids all day and you've taken care of the house and your kids, and your husband comes home, and before you leave you make sure that he has dinner and everything's set up easy for him, right? So you've gone out of your way to ignore your own emotions and needs for the day, and now you're going to head to the barn. This is the foundation. This step is so fucking crucial, and this is where people mess up all the time, and this is where we expect to mess up all the time because we're fucking human. Okay? So this is especially beginner mindset. Every time you go out to the barn, we should be touching our nose. Any kind of pattern interrupt, you can grab your ear, tug on your ear a little bit, fucking twiddle your hair. My hair's up. I can't show you. You just play with your hair a little. We want a pattern interrupt. We want something to physically be different. You could smack yourself if you'd like, but that's not as nice. So we like to touch our nose, tap your little unicorn horn, whatever it takes to interrupt that pattern so that when we are going out to the barn, we're clearing ourselves out. Okay. We're going to clear ourselves out. We want to go out to the barn and initiate this time with our horses in a very clear space, with a very clear mind, with a very clear energy field, because remember, our horses are extremely energetic. They pick up on more than we do. A lot more. A lot more. Their energy fields are much larger than ours are. Okay. So, one of the ways I like to do this, especially if I've done any of the things that I previously described, right? Stay at home mom, fucking stressed out, driving home or driving to the barn after work, like all of those things. One of the best ways, like for me, and everybody's a little bit different, so this might not hit for you. You can find something else that works for you, or you can just like manipulate this exercise a little bit. Okay. Um, what we want to do here is one, let's focus on our breathing. Okay. And I like to do this standing up outside. So maybe I haven't made it to my horse yet, or maybe, I'm walking up to the barn. We can do this while we're walking. That's totally fine. I want to envision, like, first of all, deep breaths, right? All the way in, fill your belly with air. Like we're going to fill the lungs, but we're also going to fill the belly. Okay. And then all the way out. We're going to squeeze all that air out. And while we're breathing like this, we can be, like I said, walking or standing still, however works for you. I want you to envision all of the day, all of the crap, all the thoughts you thought today, all the feelings you felt today, all the everything you've had today is just draining slowly out of your body with every breath. And if you're walking, with every step. And it just drains all of that negativity, all of that stress, all of that just boing, 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 ADHD energy. All of it is just going to drain right through your body, all the way down through your feet and into the earth. Okay. Once we've cleared out our energy, okay, now we get to set an intention. We want to set an intention for how we expect things to go in the barn. I use that word expect, okay, purposefully, because we're not going to set an expectation. And if we do have an expectation, we want to be aware of what that is. Now, fair expectations. I don't get trampled. I don't get bit. I don't get kicked. Now, that's not your horse's responsibility, right? That's your responsibility to keep yourself in safe spaces, to not get trampled, bit, or kicked. Other expectations outside of that, not really fair. Okay. We're not going to set an expectation to be able to ride. We're not going to set an expectation to get a specific movement. We're not going to set an expectation for any kind of behavior outside of our safety. Okay. And remember, your safety is your responsibility. Yes, our horses can be expected to behave themselves, but as soon as we put an expectation on them, we kind of shut down that two-way communication roadway. All right. Because then we're walking in and saying, I am the boss. And there are times everything serves and everything limits. Okay. There are times for that, but not when we purposefully, intentionally are going out there to create two-way communication. So when I am going to the barn and I want to create two-way communication with my horse, I might set an intention to ride. And what that looks like is I'm going to go to the barn prepared to ride. I'm going to have my riding pants. I'm going to have my half chaps on. I'm going to wear my riding boots. I'm going to take my helmet, right? I am going to then, from that point forward, let go of any expectation. I set an intention. I show up prepared to do the thing. If it doesn't go that way, I'm perfectly okay with that. And that's for the purpose of setting two-way communication. That's all we can do. Okay. Now, we've let go of our expectations. We take responsibility for our safety, and we've created a really grounded focus. Okay. We're here to be present with our horses. We're here to experience what's going on. And we're going to now create an awareness because your horse is communicating with you all the time. You just don't notice. You just don't notice. And when you do notice, you assume that the communication is something other than what it is. Okay. An example of this: you do get bit. You get bit, but why? Why did they bite you? Most of the time, we don't stop to ask why did we get bit. We just no, we aren't doing that, right? And that's fair to some extent, especially when we get caught off guard with teeth. um, but there's a reason. They're not just doing it for no reason. They're not doing it to be naughty. They're not doing it to be assholes. They're doing it because there's a message here to be communicated. So we get to be aware when a less than ideal behavior happens. What was the trigger? What happened before that? What was happening in the moment when the horse leashed out, right? Leashed out? No. Lashed out. What on earth? Anyway, and the same thing, like it doesn't even have to be that they bit you or kicked you or did a horribly bad behavior. Sometimes it's just being aware enough to notice that when you put your saddle on, or even better, like let's back up 3 steps. When you approach with your saddle, the horse puts its head in front of you and blocks your path. No. That's what that's saying. It's like no. And it doesn't mean no forever. It means no, not right now, or it means slow down. And we can start to interpret that if we're aware enough to catch the behavior. Okay. Two-way communication is all about awareness. And in order to be aware, we had to do all those steps that we already did, right? We had to create this grounded feeling in ourselves. We had to clear our own minds. We had to set an intention to be aware. And then we can catch the other things. We can notice that they're not quite walking right. We can notice that they kind of pin their ears just a teeny tiny little bit, or even change their facial expression when we reached for the girth. We weren't even tightening yet. We reached for it and their facial expression changed. These are little tiny hints that we can be seeing that are 100% two-way communication. They are telling you exactly what's going on. You're just not hearing them. You're not catching it because you're not aware, because we're having a conversation with someone else, or we're still tied up in what was happening 3 hours ago at work. Right? Two-way communication is not complicated. It's simple. It's not easy because we're human and we make mistakes and we get caught up in the past and the future. When we're in the present moment, things become very clear. Now, taking this a step further, we want to look for reciprocal energy. We want to look for those moments, kind of like I already talked about, where it's like they kind of block you with their head, or their facial expression changes when you reach for the girth. Like these little things are happening. And we get to create reciprocal energy. Okay. So what that means is, and if you follow Warwick Schiller at all, yes, 100%. He is creating through a lot of his training methods. If you're needing support and training, I highly recommend going to check him out. Check out his video library. It's a really inexpensive subscription plan. You can learn a lot. And if you implement, you can make a crap ton of progress. Most people just learn and don't implement. That's a problem. um, so what we want to do is acknowledge that we see them, acknowledge that we hear them by creating this reciprocal energy. And we're going to create that reciprocal energy by just acknowledging, right? So like, what Warwick often says is like, as soon as you get your horse's attention, you back off or you look away or you step backwards. Like, one of the things that I remember very firmly from my time in Warwick's subscription program was that if my horse looked disturbed, upset, scared, any of the things, I was to back off. And that makes so much sense because we're giving a little bit of space. We're saying, "Oh, that makes you uncomfortable. Cool, cool, cool. I'm not here, like, hands up, right? I'm not here to hurt. I'm here in peace. I come in peace. I come in peace." Um, so those are little ways that we can do that. And we can do the same thing by just slowing down our whole process, right? And one of the other things I like to do is that when my horse looks at something, I like to look at something. I don't want to make my horse think that his feelings and his instincts aren't valuable. Because I don't know about you, but like if I go out on a trail ride and my horse hears a bear before I do, I would like to take his recommendation and get the fuck on out of here. Right? And yes, sometimes it's the plastic bag and it's not a fucking bear and we get frustrated with them. But this is two-way communication. Everything serves and everything limits, and we're allowed to let this serve us. We're allowed to let their communication serve us. Okay. Now, y'all have heard me talk about Leanne a shit ton, and one of these days she's gonna. I know she hasn't seen these videos because she hasn't said to me, "Why do you keep why do you keep saying that we're gonna have to talk together?" We are. One of these days she's gonna catch one of these. She's gonna message me and she's gonna be like, so we're doing a podcast or something? Because that's where we're headed. Because I know you've heard me talk about Leanne a lot. And this two-way communication, she's just, first of all, Leanne has been around since the beginning of my more formal education side of my business because she's the reason I started a lot of it. I had an idea for something and she helped me implement it. She was one of my first clients implementing long distance healing massage sessions where I could teach someone just enough massage to get their horse past the big pain lump, right? And then Leanne was the reason why I created the Keys to the Kingdom Grow Your Equine Therapy Business program because she decided that she wanted the fulfillment all the time of helping horses. And so I helped her do what I did and she created an amazing business. So now we're going to jump back to Leanne a little bit more because she does a really good job of listening to her horses and creating that two-way communication. And when she feels like she's missing something, she doesn't hesitate to say, "I need help. I'm missing it." And she knows she's missing it, right? And so she has reached out to me on multiple occasions. I mean, we talk all the time, so it's like not a big deal. But um, she reaches out and she's like, this is the behavior that's going on, and I can't figure it out. And when I back up with her, we can usually see where she started to get that communication from her horse, but she didn't follow through with it, right? And this is common. We're human. We make mistakes. We're in a hurry. And it's just so much easier to fall back into that default of like, the horse is wrong. The horse is wrong. The horse is wrong. But really, we get to listen to their communication. And so, when I first met Leanne, Ace was having bucking issues. He was throwing tantrums essentially in her sessions with she had group training sessions for barrel racing, and he just wasn't getting it. He was being naughty. But really, as previously stated, he wasn't being naughty. And Leanne knew. Like, everybody was telling her, like, he's just being a jerk. You just need to give him a coming to Jesus moment. Kick him a little harder coming around the barrel. He just needs to be punished. He just needs to be taught he can't do this. And Leanne knew. Leanne knew that that was not the answer. She knew deep down, right? She didn't know what the answer was, but she knew that wasn't it. And so I saw her post in a Facebook group. This is kind of like we had been in a similar circle before, but this is where our relationship really started because she posted a picture of her horse and she's like, he has this weird sweat pattern. He has this behavior. What's going on? And so we got on a Zoom call, right? And within like 15 minutes, I was like, this is it. This is what's going on in his body. And then we spent a couple hours over a Zoom where I taught her the basics of massage that she needed to know to solve this problem. She went out and she did the shit, right? Again, we have to implement. Learning alone isn't going to do it. We have to implement. So she went out and she did the work and got to experience what it was like to have her horse turn and truly acknowledge her. Like she's helping him feel better. And he just looks at her with his big brown eyes. And I've seen it a million times. If you've done any kind of body work, you know what this is like. And if you haven't, you're missing out because there's fucking nothing in this world like having a horse, 1,500-pound fucking animal who could squish you like a bug, just turn around and be like, oh my God, thank you. Like, thank you. You can read the gratitude. You can feel the gratitude just coming off of them in waves. And yeah, so Leanne experienced that for the first time and then got to experience what it's like to work with a partner who feels seen and heard. What it feels like to have a partner who feels reciprocated, right? Because our horses bust ass for us all the time and sometimes they just need to know that we're doing the same for them, right? And a lot of horses don't even know that that's a thing. And it makes them uncomfortable when people start to show them attention and show them love and that they're seen and heard and understood. Isn't that a little bit crazy? So, I know that this group is full of horsewomen who are like Leanne that know um, that, sometimes training isn't the answer and we need to figure out what else is going on. So I know that you all are in here because you want to be able to identify and solve your horse's problems. And I know that y'all have tried traditional training solutions and it hasn't worked. It sucked. It sucked and you felt shitty about it, right? Just like Leanne did. We all felt shitty about it. We all felt like it was wrong, but we did it anyways because we didn't know what else to do. Well, guys, there's a better way. There is a better way. So that is why I created the Intuitive Equine Bodywork Certification Program. It shows you how you can identify and solve pain problems, behavioral problems, because they're usually rooted in some level of pain. And we don't bother with guesswork because we're going to use intuitive assessment strategies instead, right? So are you the kind of person are you the kind of person who feels like technical knowledge is required and you just you don't have that kind of technical knowledge to truly understand how to help horses? Because, like, that was me. That was me 100%. I'm like, I don't speak Latin and microbiology is a little bit beyond my comprehension. But turns out, like, that's not necessary. Turns out we just need to have a basic understanding of muscle function. We don't have to actually say the full muscle names, and we don't have to fully understand microbiology. We don't have to understand things at a cellular level to be able to create an impact and pain relief in our horses. So, if you've ever felt completely overwhelmed, like I know that Leanne's going right back into this. So Leanne is a farmer's wife, which means that some days she's out in fields and tractors and equipment. Other days, she is the stay-at-home mom who's taking care of two young children, and just trying to get her workouts in and make sure that her family is fed and the house is cleaned and the animals are taken care of and all the things. Let alone have time to ride her horse. But she still found time to be able to help her own horse and to eventually create a business because she leaned in and she knew that intuitive assessment strategies were going to help her speed this up because she watched me do it with her that first time in just 15 minutes of knowing what was wrong. If we can eliminate and collapse that timeline to find the problem, we can definitely collapse the timeline to solve the problem, right? So the truth is, you can remain overwhelmed. Okay. Y'all can remain overwhelmed and continue to search for a solution. But, imagine what it would be like if you didn't. Imagine what it would be like if you just decided to make a change, right? What would it feel like to actually identify that problem for your horse? What if you are absolutely the best person to solve your horse's pain problem? I'm going to put a link in the comments, guys. I'm going to put a link in the comments to the Intuitive Equine Bodywork Certification Program. You're going to go ahead and click that link. When you click that link, it's going to take you to a page where you can read Leanne's a story a little bit. You can read my original story, and then you can read some testimonials from all of the people that are in the program and the people that have chose to pursue this as a business. And you can see all the amazingness that is included in this program. And then you can make a decision. You can make a decision to go all in and decide to change how you do things with your horse, to start leaning into that intuition a little bit more, to learn how to use intuitive assessment strategies to make a difference for you and your horse. And there's even two options there. You can do a pay in full action taker discount for just $9.97. Like, ask Penny, ask Sarah, ask Alex. They're all in the program. There's so much value in that program, and they haven't even gotten to the Keys to the Kingdom business building program yet. This is just the main certification. The business builder is included with it. But there is also a payment plan option if that is something that you need. So you can check that out. But really, I just want you all to remember, no matter what your choices are today, tomorrow, whatever, you really are the very best person to help your horse. Okay. I will see you guys next Tuesday for Tuesday Tales. I'm so glad to be back. Oh, I will see you guys tonight. Don't forget. That's why I put it in the comments because I knew I would forget to say it. Tonight, full moon card pull. There is a full moon tonight, whoop whoop, and also a lunar eclipse, and it's a super moon. It's again, we're just like in all the moon energy these last couple months, and we're just gonna keep rolling with it. So I will see you tonight back here, 7 p.m. Eastern time for a full moon card pull. All right, guys, chat with you later.